Oh, I need your advice.
Yeah?
See, I got this friend named Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo.
That's the worst name I ever heard.
Oh, no!
Hi, Joey Jojo!
Start in 3, 2. All right, everybody, welcome back to another week of Muskies on Tap. Welcome to episode number 147 of the Mott Pod. I am one of your 3 hosts on here tonight, Gus Manty. We got the rest of the crew on here, Brian and Max. We're also going to be getting on later on in the pod, Mr. Hammer himself of Hammer Customs, Nick Ambrose. We're just going to throw him somewhere in this podcast, so definitely stay tuned to listen to that. But we got a lot on our docket here that we want to kind of talk about and brush up on, kind of like a late winter, spring, early spring recap, get the boys back in it. A lot of stuff to talk about. So, without further ado, let's introduce the other MOP members on here tonight. Got none other than my brother Max. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Gus. I don't even know really where to start here this evening. Lot to catch up on. I'll say the pod last week might have been one of the first Muskies on Tap podcasts I've listened to in quite some time. Shout out to all the people that swung by, helped us put a live show together. Audio I thought turned out, not bad, so. But yeah, a lot of fun at the Wisconsin Muskie Expo. As always, I'm sure we'll get into that. Hopefully, Brian apologizes for his behavior.
Come on.
But yeah, we will be diving into some baits that we got at the show and kind of chatting about those, some stuff that's maybe new, some things that we haven't talked about on the pod that just kind of caught our eye at the shows this year that we ended up picking up. So if you're tuning in via podcast right now, maybe if you got a couple minutes tonight or whenever you can get in front of a computer or TV, why don't you just fly over to YouTube and check that out? I think the viewing experience on this pod might be a little bit better, a little more elevated than the listening
Correct.
experience. But yeah, without further ado, I guess we'll just lead right in here to my partner in crime, none other than Brian Echo. Brian, the people want to know: Are you sorry? Are you sorry that you went to
I
bed at 11 p.m. the
look.
night of the
I
Wisconsin
didn't
Muskie?
know I'd have to explain myself. I guess it was a bigger deal than it had to be. And just before this, when we were rehashing what we were going to talk about tonight, Gus called us both out for being too drunk at the expo, and I was
I didn't say too
shocked. I was
drunk. I just
shocked.
said drunk. I just
I
said
was shocked
drunk.
by that
Well,
too. I was
yeah,
shocked by
I was
that too.
shocked. I was shocked I was
Shocked.
going to be included in
Why
that
are you
sentence.
shocked?
Um, so
I thought you were
basically.
like that.
Basically, it was a great time. I think the pitfall for me was arriving on an empty stomach, and then the first 3 things into me were bloodies before I had a burger, and then I didn't have food again till who knows what time. So you just one of those little things you get caught up in, right? Stomach becomes pure liquid, and
Brian, I got a question for you. Did you get on a first name basis with the bartender back there at the show?
I had to do. Actually,
Yeah,
no, I don't remember her name, but I
because
remember
I
her
was
from
buying
last
all your
year.
drinks.
That's not true either. I will
You're like, oh,
say.
how'd these end up in my hands?
Yeah. Baits included and drinks. I still didn't go over the budget. That's crazy. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, great time there, obviously. Great seeing everybody. Had a ton of fun. Um, yeah, not much to report on this past weekend. I got out and actually hit some golf balls in the nice weather yesterday, which really started to feel like our turn towards summer. Today it was hailing and like 45 degrees, so maybe not yet. Um, Getting close to the Masters here. Got to debrief that a little bit in this pod at some point, and for sure in the next pod next week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back to back with Rory, so really getting the jitters now for the Masters here in a couple weekends. But until then, we got a lot to rehash on. I was actually shocked because this is usually the low off season where it's like, all right, shows are done, not fishing yet. But we do. We got a lot to hash up tonight. Gus, where do you want to take us from here?
Before we get too much further, I do want to quick chat on some of the speaking engagements that I'm going to be at here shortly. So for all you listening, These are all Wisconsin, where I'm going to be speaking at. But the first one coming up is let me get a calendar to make sure I know the day of the week it's on. Okay, so the first one coming up is April 6th. That is a Monday, the Monday after this pod comes out. I will be at speaking at the Wausau area Muskies Inc. chapter at Dale's Weston Lanes,
Yeah,
in Weston,
shout out Dale.
Wisconsin, right outside shout out Dale for
Dale's
hosting.
Bowling Alley.
6:30 p.m. I believe I speak at 7. That one I'm going to be chatting on kind of like how I take notes, what I look for into locking in patterns up here in the Northwoods, and some recaptures,
Hmm.
um, and how we got them, and the differences, and growth and this and that. So there's gonna be a lot of good stuff in that one. And then the next night on April 7th, a Tuesday, I will be up at the Northwoods chapter, Muskies Inc. in Minocqua. It's at Norwood Pines at looks like cocktails start around 6. They have their meeting at some point, and then I speak at 7, just like the previous night. And
What's
that one I'm gonna what's up?
what is Norwood Pines?
Norwood Pines Supper Club in Minocqua. I've
Mm.
never been there before, but
Oh, report
it's
back. I'd
pretty
be curious to
nice.
hear.
Yeah, yeah, just west of Minocqua there. That one I'm probably going to be speaking on tournament tactics and breaking down new water. I have done that one before, but I'm going to refine that presentation because I have done it a good amount of times where, I'm finding the things I like to talk about and explain and this and that. So that's kind of the joys of doing a lot of seminars is kind of, you know, making them into a more well-oiled machine, a refined product, something good to talk about there. So then the following weekend, April 11th, I'll be at the Capital Cities Muskies Inc. Fundraiser. That one's at the Mekong in McFarland. Um, that one starts. That's a Saturday. That's more of like a day event. That one you have to like actually sign up. So I think you'd either have to go to Capital Cities Muskies Inc. Facebook or website or something like that and sign up to get, the lunch and a table or something like that. It's kind of like more of a Muskies Inc., event, not just a speaking, meeting at night. So that starts at I think 9 a.m. I'll speak at 11 a.m. and then there's lunch at noon and I speak again after lunch. So I'll probably do a couple different presentations that I've done over the past year or so. And then the last one, I'll try to make this brief because I'll get more information coming up to this one. But April 18th, if you're in the Chippewa Falls area, at American Marine, they're an Alumacraft dealership. I'm going to be speaking there and hanging out all day and talking Alumacraft and musky fishing. So if you're listening to this from Western Wisconsin, stop over on April 18th. I'll get more info on that later. But yeah, I kind of wanted to just hash that out right away in case you're listening and curious or want to hear me speak somehow any more than talking on this pod. But
You can be a politician here soon, making all these speaking stops. It's
Crazy.
crazy.
yeah, I was holding off on all of them. I did like 2 since December, and then all of a sudden I got 4 in like 2 weeks. But I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet.
Yeah, so sweet, sweet there. I think a couple of them I got some um, donated trips to go and like raffle bins and whatnot as well. So, but otherwise, let's get into something. Let's see here, Brian. Do you have the Mott bracket pulled up for the March
Oh
Madness
yeah.
bracket challenge? Oh yeah.
Yes, I do. Coming
So
into the final four now. Goes quick.
sure
Obviously,
does.
didn't give a recap last pod as we were live from the show, and there wasn't a ton of thoughts in the head at the time. But looking at it now, there is a few people up at the top over 1,000 points. JV Sweeney, that guy ring a bell for you guys? Shout out
Maybe.
JV
Yeah. I've
Sweeney.
I've probably messaged with him. Yeah.
He's a ball knower, apparently. We got Brad Schultz up there in a close second. And then RSP's picks, the RSP. Not sure who he is either. Arizona and Michigan winners looks like they've all picked. Next one down the list would be a Yukon pick, just a generic ESPN fan account username.
Hmm,
Um,
I gotta change that.
there are some wild usernames in here though. Gibby's got no clue. Fuck you is a name. Glub Glub. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna figure out who's gonna claim these prizes.
I
I'm
know
sure.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again,
I,
I'll
I don't
run
know
through them. I got
how you guys are doing, but oh, look at that.
Oh, terrible. I'm like dead last again. I mean, that one I think I did blindfolded. You can make fun of me as much as you want about a horrible bracket, but I think I've said this in the
Gus,
last
you
two
were dead
years.
last.
Yeah, I know. That's I I don't make these to try and win. I'm not trying to, win the
You're trying to
own products or whatever. It's kind of just
Have
like
some
a
respect, man.
uh,
what you mean by that?
don't make him to try to win. Shout out Alex McLean too. Battling down here, 239th place. Decent showing for the
He's kind of a ball
Chippewa.
knower too, so that's surprising.
All the ball knowers didn't do very well this year. Max, I don't know where
What
you're
about
at.
you and Max?
I'm at 174. Nothing to write home about.
I was in top 10, hovering around top 10 for a long time, and I had the Johnnies going all the way. So when they lost to
Ooh,
Duke, Duke
where did
stormed
you
back.
drop?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably pretty far down the leaderboard, but I'd say that's enough tourney talk. We'll get into that once the results are done. Some great prizes, as everybody knows. We got some awesome stuff to give away. So best of luck to everyone that's in contention right now. Yeah, a couple
Do,
more days.
do,
What's up, Brian?
do we want to hit on the ending of that Duke game quick before we move on from college basketball?
Sure.
What you got to
I
say on
mean,
that?
I mean,
first of all, one of the wildest endings I've ever seen in March Madness. It's up there with the greats. To turn the ball over, to get it, to launch it from the logo, nothing but net. Absolutely incredible shot. Um, and then, we were caught up today in a group chat arguing with some buddies about whether or not the interaction between Dan Hurley and the referee after that shot went in should have been a technical foul and should have sent Duke to the free throw line with a chance to win with point 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Um, it's been going around, ESPN, Sports Center, everybody's talking about it. What's the right call there? I tend to be on the
What
side of you can't call that. The refs can't decide the game there. It wasn't ill intent. It wasn't because he was angry. They just hit an
you didn't
incredible
even
shot.
explain what happened, though.
What do you want me? So Dan Hurley, if you haven't seen the clip, Dan Hurley is celebrating with his coaching staff. He turns around to face towards the court, and
time on the clock too?
the ref is right up in his face, and so that he like stares him down nose to nose for maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds, and then they walk away. And people are calling it taunting. You can't touch a ref, that whole thing. But um, I got nothing
I
wrong with it.
just depends probably how much you like Duke to how much you hate Duke.
I was gonna
And see,
say,
I'm not a Duke hater at all.
I feel like
Okay.
the social media and all the sports commentators, it would be up in flames if it went the other way. They
Exactly.
get the call, Duke makes, the free throws. It's what, zero point 0.4 seconds left in the clock or whatever, and Duke wins. Like what's gonna cause more uproar
Oh, they would
there? I
have
feel like
burnt it to the
that would
ground.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
would
this
have been
shit would have been
horrible.
crazy if they would have, called it with point 0.3 seconds, a technical on the coach to let Duke win the game. You wouldn't have heard the end of it. So, anyways, it was an awesome game. Hopefully, we got more of those ahead. Arizona, Michigan coming up should be a barn burner. So excited. It's gone by quick though. And then we're on to Augusta.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been a great, I mean, it's been a pretty good tournament. I'd say that was definitely a nice little cherry on top of the weekend. But yeah, let's chat some musky baits. I mean, I don't know what else we should get into before we kind of to hit on some of these new baits. I mean, I got nothing. So, if you guys want to just keep it rolling, and I don't know, Gus, do you want to start us off with maybe one bait that caught your eye? We'll just do a little show and tell here, go around the class.
Yeah, I'll do
Show
like
and
top
tell.
three that I'm for sure like super pumped about the season because we kind of talked about that beforehand, and then I'm gonna dig. I brought the box with all the other ones that I got. I'm gonna dig around and see if I can
Hey
find one
Gus,
that
just
I'm like
just
excited.
we did not really share amongst each other what we're going to show here. So I think out of fairness to Brian and I think we should just go 1-1-1-1.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
You
good
know what
with
I
that.
mean? All right. You know,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't
one at
need
a time.
you showing off, 4 baits and I'm
No,
sitting
no,
here
no,
looking at
no.
my pile.
That's not what I was
Yeah.
saying. I was just saying I got the three, like you said, and then I kind of want to go through one that I think is like a sneaky pick, or you know that find where you kind of walk around the show and you're like, maybe you didn't
Yeah,
have it in mind, but then you got it.
I'm
So the
excited
first
for this.
one,
I'm excited for this.
yeah, me too. This is the viewing experience. This is where this happens. So head on over to YouTube.
Whoa.
Again, I'll say it again if you haven't, Muskies on Tap YouTube. But boom, boom, boom.
Da-na-na-na.
What do we have here?
This is like you play this the intro from Spaceballs where the ship just keeps going and going and
It never
going.
ends.
It never
The
ends.
20-inch
And
Super Glide.
the bad ship blimp. Yeah, 20-inch Super Glide. No, from Tom's Custom Musky Baits, I'm pumped for the 10-inch Super Glide. Because last year, you guys saw it in Vermilion and I saw it up here in the Northwoods. Like I started running that 10-inch Phantom, that old one. They don't, make it anymore and whatever. Um, and it was powerful. Like that big glide just going way to the side and to the side and just, I don't know, swooshing and making a ton of ruckus in the water, but also going slow. That was powerful. Got some big fish doing that. Moved a lot of fish, lost some fish. I'm definitely going to keep going with that tactic. Glide baits are pretty cool. I mean, once you start slowing them down in these cold water seasons, early and late, like they can trigger fish that you wouldn't think would normally trigger that you just, burn a straight retrieve bait by and nothing happens. So that is
Can
bait
we see that
numero
color
uno.
again?
Yeah, it's orange tail with like a gold sucker. It's got pretty sweet flash, white belly. I
Looks like
just
a
kind of
bait
went,
you'd use.
yeah, yeah, natural, normal
Mm,
colors.
mm.
Um, right,
Orange
right.
tail saves it.
Okay, Brian, what do you got first up? Let me see that.
Well, I've got on that
Oh,
note with
here
the
we
orange
go.
tail. I have got, and look, keep in mind, I was trying to build a wrecking rack, one of the little carrying, it's like a foot by a foot or somewhat close to that wrecking rack box. So I was trying to get a little bit of everything. I ended up missing a couple categories of baits, but one that I'm excited about, I think it was the first bait that I bought from the Amish himself, Brady Martz. Beautiful Bam Bam. Orange tail,
Uh,
orange belly. I like the contrast here with the pearl white and the black stripes. Excited to get a fish on this year. I used it a good amount last year, one of Gus's, um, to no luck, but excited to kind of fine tune the technique with it. Got to speak with Taylor, I guess. He's a guru for everybody I talk to, so
yep,
maybe not an opener
that's who you
bait,
gotta
but later
talk
in the
to.
year.
They got crushed for us on opener last year. We
Did, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a
I
secret
caught like
lake.
we
a
caught one.
43 on and one on opener
That was
last
a
year.
secret lake, though. It doesn't really count.
I mean, still lake and
It's
muskies
a
and stuff.
lake with muskies that eat lures and stuff, so
Not really
Yeah,
it's just
that
like any other
secret.
lake.
maybe it'll work on opener. It's just look, it's just not gonna be my first bait I hook on, but I'll make my way around to it at some point.
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Did
you
you
are
get
like the
Max?
top water guy. You get your rubber game up, but
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
not
we
for
just
opener
wanted to
either.
clarify. You said, you're not going to use it on opener. We just wanted to remind you that it did catch it like a 43 incher on opener last year.
Yeah, again, it's just gonna be something I have to read the conditions. Right
For
now,
sure.
it's probably not the top of the opener box, but
Okay. Okay. All
okay.
right.
gorgeous bait.
I
Still.
am going with the Trucker Lures
Oh,
lug nut in the Brian Echo color.
shake it,
So
shake it.
got a nice little
Is it the
I don't think
rattle? I
they
think
got it.
that's the spark plug.
spark plug. Okay. The spark plug is the one with the rattle. It's got a,
I think.
for those of you not not watching, it's got a pink belly, purple glitter side. Um, I didn't get to his booth quick enough. There was a couple colors I really had my eye on, but honestly, I'm pretty excited about this one. It's something super different and unique. I think it'll work well in some of the stained waters that we yeah, Gus has got the crazy pattern, but that's the one without the rattle in it, right?
Correct. This is the
Mhm.
non-rattle. But I
Uh
had to get the color. This is like a staple for up here,
Is there
yeah.
smallmouth.
another bait size you can compare that to? I mean, it's literally slightly bigger than a spark plug, but
I
what is
mean
that? 3 inches?
it's yeah, probably you tell me,
It's
brother.
it's four, dog. It's four.
Gotta be 6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, like 8.5. So the one thing I was super excited about this. So it's I think you can well, you can troll them obviously, but I was really excited more so to cast this. I love casting small crankbaits, and I don't have enough. The small cranks I have in my box right now are kind of the typical like ones that you'd imagine, small cranks, the slammers, the grandmas, the jakes, all that stuff. So I'm excited to get something a little different in the box and be able to throw this. I mean, I'm assuming this will work everywhere all year round.
I
So I'm
I will
fired up.
say that that's probably the bait I'm most jealous of is the one that you got, Max, with the rattle in it, because that's right up my alley. That's what I'm envisioning for opener is that kind of bait. When I
Hmm.
say that I
Yeah.
won't be throwing the Bam Bam immediately, but yeah, and that's the hole in my box too that I realized when I got home is somehow I went the whole show without getting a crank. So a little bit
Yeah.
mad about
This
that.
this is compared for visual people. This is compared to a 7-inch swim fin.
Oh
I
yeah,
wanted to just say that out loud because I'm holding a swim fin, but you might think it's a 9. But this is the 7-inch, so it's pretty short. Like it's,
4 inch.
but it's yeah, but it's like bulky. It
Yeah.
packs a punch. You know, I
Sweet
as I
detail in the
do,
eyes.
yeah. As I do with all baits, right after the show season, I try to find open water right away just to like test these baits and see what they're about. And this thing is just like super wide wobble and like aggressive, but then you can also like twitch it and it just like goes shallow and it barely rises and
Mm.
it's like a perfect right over the fresh cabbage bait. Like it's not
Mm.
gonna dig into it and you're gonna get annoyed. Like this thing is like it doesn't rise fast like a crane, but it works like that shallow cover, but slower. Like if you need something slower, where crane you just have to go fat. Like this is the ticket for that.
And that's by Trucker Lures.
Yeah.
Can you
Yes.
still get his baits?
Sounds like he'll have a run of them out at a couple different spots in the near future per
Yeah.
Gus.
Follow
So
follow him on Facebook.
Okay,
yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. Bob posts a decent bit there, so
Got out
All right,
Bob.
he'll keep
Gus,
you
what do you
updated
got?
on that. Back to me. Back to me. I'm gonna switch it up. Not a glide, not a bait like that, but the
Oh,
Oh,
old Nimmer Swimmer Wally Pog. I
wow.
got the
wow.
favorite size, which I think is OG size. So it's like one step below the 3 hooker and one step bigger than the junior. And if I was gonna get one for top water, I looked it up. He has also, a whole wide variety of colors, but I'm like, just gonna get black. Keep it simple. You can't see super well here, but it's got a ton of sparkles in it. I do kind of like that in some top waters, and I feel like they refract a lot of light and just kind of shine all over. Does it make a difference? Maybe not, but I think it looks cool.
I'm also
Um,
jealous of that. Does that make a
Yeah.
pretty,
I'm
is that a pretty
I'm
loud
really
knocker?
it's yeah. So he's got like in the middle there. Can you see the
Screws.
like the
Oh
screws?
yeah.
It's metal on metal. So like I don't know how much this is gonna pick it up, but if you go to the show, you know what it sounds like. Nimmer likes to clank it around. So you know where he's at. But like I'm pumped. He's a builder up here, I believe, in northern Wisconsin. So like he made them for shallow fishing, flowages, dark water, making a lot of racket, kind of similar to like a hog wobbler style, but just like a totally different body. And I don't know. I've seen enough friends catch some nice fish on them that finally pulled the trigger on one. Just kind of round out the top water box. We love our flaptails and prop style baits, but
Mhm.
we're trying to get into those couple different things like walk the dog, hog wobbler style, the wally pog, and globe and whatnot. So that
More
is my
options, the
bait number
better.
2 that I'm pumped about.
All right. Well, I'm gonna mix this up, completely different direction. My most expensive bait, most bait I'm most proud of, I would say. Excited for the adventures ahead with this thing,
The
but
adventures ahead.
A furry thing.
it is a big furry thing. I don't even know what this is. Probably, I don't know, 20 inches all the way down to the tips here. 3 section castable
What is it?
fly for months.
Yep.
It's got 3 different joints in it. You can kind of take out the joints as you want if you want a smaller presentation. Three sets of treble hooks, one in the back, one at each joint. You can add weight in between the joints. It'll take a lot of fine tuning earlier in the year, probably lighter, and just kind of coast it above the weeds. And then I believe I threw your castable fly for months that you got, Gus, in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
putting more weight on the head and in that first midsection. But
Brian,
super,
is that an opener bait?
this will
If
definitely be an
you
opener bait. I'll probably just remove one section and leave it somewhat bigger, and put
yeah,
one little weight in there. But
sweet.
I gotta see the full thing run
I'm excited.
before I take them out before I take
I'm
out
excited.
sections. So
I'm really
Max, how about
pumped.
you?
It's
Can you
like
top that though? I don't know.
Well, I'm actually gonna pull one that I got at the Minnesota show here. I wanted to shout out John. So he does a really cool thing, and I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people from Wisconsin know the Musky Addicts brand lure company, but John does a really cool thing. He makes a lot of really unique baits that we've kind of messed around with. And I got Gus, I believe this is a flamethrower.
yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sorry, John, if you're listening, I screwed this up, but I believe it's a double eight base here. I don't know if you can see that. Double eights here, and then I think it's a nine up top. It's either a nine or another eight, but I think it's a nine
He
up
makes a
top.
couple different
And
varieties.
it's
Like you
kind of
can
on
hit either
this,
or.
yeah, it's kind of on this hinge system. And so I picked up one last year at the Minnesota show that I think I've talked about, but I threw it, caught a fish on it, and the fish ate it so hard it actually just destroyed the bait. These baits are built really well. It was just kind of one of those freak accidents where I think I might have cut the bucktail when I was cutting hooks and just all that shit. So
Oh,
um
ruh-roh.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but it
So
just never really ran
excited.
right. So I picked up two of his baits. I got a nice little Minnesota purple and gold, like a purple Cisco blue color. Brian, what you think of that right there?
I do like that. I think I'll
Got
be trying
some,
that out.
it's got some gold in it. It's got some, yeah, purple, blue, gold, a little bit of red, and then just the pure gold blades on those sunny days. You just
How,
can't beat it.
how do you feel about that
Mm-hmm.
on opener? Is it too much?
No, it's really not. I mean, the nice thing is the skirts. What I love, I'm a big fan of not giant skirts.
Same here.
But it's not a super huge skirt. It's it puts out a lot more noise. Like it's a big noise for not a huge bait, and they run really well. I'm excited to hopefully not destroy this one. So yeah, I'm pumped. Should be a good one, I
Nice.
think. Gus got a few nice Wisconsin fish on that flamethrower last year, I'm pretty sure.
Um, it actually unfortunately did not land. I think I was like texting with John a few times. I was like, dude, for whatever reason I can't, get a net shot for you and get one on your bait. But I'm like, every single fish that I've hooked is huge, like a big Wisconsin fish. Like the
Yeah.
first two fish that ate it were 45 inches from action water, pressured action
Yeah.
water. And I was like, what the f like from fish that I would hunt for months, like these
Yeah.
types of fish, like, when I'm talking about some of the local spots here, I'm like, this damn fish on this spot's been there for freaking, since opener, this and that. It hooked those fish, but one of them went fully airborne and just tossed the bait over my shoulder, and the other one was like right at the boat. Kind of it was not kind of it was very heartbreaking,
It's a big
but
game hunter.
they
I think it
run
is a big
super
game
well.
hunter. I think it is a big game hunter because it just puts it's such a different, unique bucktail that like fish aren't seeing it a lot. And
We
yeah,
need to Max and I have a list of big game hunters for golf, the guys that compete in the majors. We need to make a list as we go through this year on our big game hunter musky baits, fish, things that have moved giants or caught giants.
that's a good idea. I like that. We should keep
Keep
kind
a
of a
little
running
leaderboard.
tally on the big game hunter baits. For
Yeah.
those of you that aren't aware, big game hunter is just it when we do it for sports, just somebody who just shows up in the on the big stage. They don't really compete in they're not really catching the 30 35 inchers, they're
No.
just the
No.
baits that are going to get you the big gals. So
Yeah.
Gus, what do you got?
All right, for bait number three that I'm really pumped about, I'm kind of keeping it, you know, top or glide. I'm going with that top line diving
Oh,
glide. This thing, I threw it around to test it a little bit. I was blown away. Like I didn't know a bait that is a dive and rise, but also a glide bait and doing all that sorts of things. I'm like, man, that just sounds complicated. Like it's, what's it gonna take? It is the easiest bait to run. Brian,
Cool.
you got to run this. I can't. You got one too. You
I
got
got
to
one.
frickin' run this thing. So what I
Yeah.
found out right away is you 100% can like long pull it, and it kind of will, fire down and shoot to one side. And then once it's on that side, you hit it again, and it'll, go back to the other side. Hence, the glide part of it, and then he makes it buoyant so it goes back up. But with this lip, it gets it to dive down a little bit. So it's doing just like a dive and rise bait would, but it's just shooting side to side. And then I was chatting with Taylor because he got to see it in action in prototype stage last year when I know he fished with Rich down in southern Wisconsin. And he's like, try short chops with it instead, like do that as well. And this thing will just like dart and dance and dart, dart, dart. Like it is, if you just do a little chop of the reel, don't even move the rod tip and you just chop it,
Mm.
this thing is nuts. Like it can go both ways. It can be slow and finesse, and it's got like a slow, moderate rise, or you can make it chop and go super darty, like a phantom or some sort of like quick, fast glide bait. And then you can also keep your rod tip up and it's still gonna go down. Like I don't know, it's versatile. So I'm
Yeah, I'm
pumped,
excited for
to
that.
say the least.
Wait.
That's a gorgeous bait too. I think I asked you about it, how that thing runs, how it looks in the water, because it looks awesome, and I'm excited to work it in, especially for early season. But my next bait, I had to grab a bait that wasn't as flashy, so I don't catch all the flack. No orange in this one. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy the color. And I want to give some love to the bait swap, is where I got this and a handful of other rubber baits. This is a Mag Dog Gold China Dog. China. Missing an eye too. It's got some runtime on it.
China.
Probably going to clip off this top hook. But for whatever reason, at the bait swap, all that was in my head was vermilion because that was the last place we had fished. And we had been just moving them on China Dogs. And so I was just on the hunt for China Dogs. I think I might have gotten this one and a couple others from Doug. So shout out to Dougie Fresh for that.
What you got there,
You
I
got
dog?
a
think that's
China
gonna
Max?
lead me right into what I got here, and actually picked this
Let's
one up
talk
at
about it.
the Minnesota bait swap.
Oh,
Speaking of Doug, he nudged me to the right direction on this one, so shout out him. And whoever I bought this from, I can't remember, but this is the old double dog, the Meg double dog China,
oh, it's got the arms.
China Meg double. Oh, it's a mouthful.
China.
Um, Smells like
China.
the China dog, not great. But so funny enough, I actually thought that the only two colors they made this in, or that I've ever seen, was that purple and orange, the one that we, have a couple of, and then like there's a white kind of rainbow trout looking one
Hmm.
that I've seen kind of floating around on Facebook and other places. And so I didn't know that they made like a gold sucker pattern, which I
Oh,
mean, for all the waters we fish, this is about as good as it gets. I know we joke around with colors, but like there's just you just cannot beat like the black gold top, gold sides, white-ish clear belly with the
Pearl.
has that
pearl with
thing
the
seen water? It looks really clean.
no, it
Looks
looks
really,
super
really
clean.
good.
There's not there's zero teeth marks in it. So
Oh,
very surprising to me. Must not have ever been thrown. I don't know. But
mine's got a few fish on it. There's some
yeah.
down to the harness scars,
I
but
like that. And you got
Yeah.
one eye, Brian. You know how I feel about one-eyed
oh
Yeah,
baits.
yeah,
Like
one-eye
they
baits are
get
great.
been around the
One-eye
catch
world
baits
more
are
once.
great.
fish.
Yeah, I'll be probably cutting off this top hook too, but this thing was awesome late season for us. It's got some great hang time. I don't think these little T-Rex arms do much, but they
I
look
think
really
that's the
cool in the water,
difference.
but it might be also the
Hang.
difference.
Hang.
They might do nothing, but they also might be the only reason why this bait works. So,
It's the
Yeah,
only reason.
um,
gotta
Might be the
be.
scent. I don't know. Muskies
yeah.
are scent guys. They just love it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it's probably going on 3 or 4 years ago now. Our buddy Big Beast, Jack Tierlink, actually brought one out to a fall trip that we had. And I remember when he put that thing on, I was just like, gosh, that is one ugly
Get that
looking
off.
bulldog. Yeah, like this is it's like a prop bait, right? You're just throwing that to have some fun.
Yeah.
And I think like first 10 minutes of him using it, a muskie actually bit the tails
Clean
clean
off.
off on that thing.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I wish
We
we would
didn't
have
even
had
take
another
the
one of
hint
those.
back then. We were just kind of like,
No,
oh, that was a hot muskie. And then like over the
no.
years, it's like, man, that thing might actually be the triggering ticket.
It's
And I'll
that two tails magic in the cold water. It's like just enough of a hang compared to the single tail bulldogs.
Yeah, and I'll give
Mhm.
Brian his flowers. I don't know if I did on a Vermilion recap episode, but he's the one that
Probably
pulled
not.
that thing out of the box when we were kind of struggling, and then that thing ended up just lighting the world on fire for an afternoon. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well,
pretty excited to add that one into the box this year.
it was hilarious looking back on it too. It's like we were so pumped to do the Cisco whitefish spawn up in Vermilion. We're just throwing the biggest shit we own,
Right,
and we're getting some bites, and we lost some fish, but it's like, wait a second, oldest trick in the book. They're not quite eating this. Downsize,
right.
and they started
Mhm.
eating it and going nuts
Downsize
over it.
and slow it down.
Slow it
So,
down.
all right, Gus, what do you got?
Well, that did it for our top three here, but I'm gonna grab this bait that I didn't know I was gonna grab right away, and I could go to like a bucktail or rubber, but I always throw that and whatnot. I want to kind of shine something else that is also a little bit sneaky. So when we had the other week, we had Jake from Spinny Baits on the other week, and we were talking about his flap tail, his jerk baits, and all that stuff, and we were explaining in that podcast like our first flap tail we owned was from Smitty, that old school one. It was like the 7 inch, did some damage, had some fish go ballistic over it. Didn't even know he made it. I got his little 5 inch one.
Sweet.
This little deadly guy, I think, is going to be something on pressured waters that are kind of known for a topwater bite that kind of goes on, but with all the craze of certain prop style baits, like they're getting smart on them. I'm talking to a lot of my buddies up here, like topwater's been getting harder and harder to get consistent bites on. Still catch really big fish and whatnot. Like it's still a very, very good way to catch muskies up here. It's just, it seems like you got to do something just a little different. So this downsized flap tail with a little bit more subtle approach, I think will be pretty deadly. So that's kind of just like the one-off find that I didn't know I was gonna get that I got. What do
Gus,
you got, Max, for that?
not to cut you off here, Brian. Well, I am very pumped about that bait. Gus, I actually texted you, I think maybe today or something. I was just
It was
like,
today.
looking at my bait haul, I'm like, why did I not get that Smitty flap? Like in Minnesota over here, they love that MK65, and I've always been curious, like if they're not going on that big flap, it'd be interesting to throw a downsized version of the same bait that they love. So. But just want to keep things consistent here at the Smitty stuff. So, yeah, we had Jake on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He had mentioned they had made this oversized Smitty Whiz. Um, and I was very intrigued by that. I've always been interested in like putting dozer blades in front of rubber baits. And I almost think like this is, it's obviously not a dozer blade, it's just a bucktail, but like with the size of this tube, I mean, this is like you know, it's kind of like an oversized. It's almost like a lake trout jig size, I would say.
Yeah,
Big one, yeah.
It's not
six
like a Red
maybe.
October size or anything. Yeah, maybe, but
It's
it's
narrow.
small, it's narrow. I love this color. I'm a big fan of this, Brian. I thought you'd get a
Yeah,
kick
that's the
out of
first
that
time I've ever
color.
heard you say you're a fan of that color.
Yeah, no, I like it. No, always a big fan of chartreuse colored stuff. I mean, it would only be better if the tube was black. I think that's the only thing I would say would be better, but we could always make that happen. But I think this is going to catch some fish, and I'm excited to use this in Minnesota this year. I think this is going to be something
Earn
that
it.
I can't imagine too many Minnesota fish have seen, but
No.
you never know, I guess. I don't know, so we'll see.
Yeah, especially like in that shallow water bite. I know I've heard Mr. Hoppy talk about it a lot, and we love his the rabid squirrel and rabid girl, like that single eight, skinnier profile body, and he just like burns it in that like September time frame or late August or kind of that early fall. So I think that's where you could shine in Minnesota, especially that color. That's like
Um,
chartreuse is the truth. Brian, you got something else you maybe
yeah, I've
grabbed
just
or?
got one more, and it fits in well with you making a comment that you're just always trying to find a little bit of a difference in the bait to try and trigger them. maybe give him a new bait. And so, what better way? We talked about it at the expo. Give you guys a
Oh
better
yeah.
visual.
Yeah.
The big
Jim.
ski hunt one. Yeah, shout out Jim again. Cool little eyeball mechanism here in front of the marabou, but this is what we were trying to describe. Little T-arm thing going on. I did look on the website when I got home, and you can actually tweak these arms. I don't want to do it quite here on screen, but you can bend them downward to be more streamlined with the entire body of the bucktail. But yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, look
Okay,
at that.
so
The
funny
chandelier.
story. Funny story about that, so we're Brian and I, we're having a good old time at the Wausau show,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, we were calling them hot laps, like, hey, we got to go do a quick hot lap, and this was getting later on in the day, I think, right before we were going to record the podcast, and I was like, Brian, we got to
Mhm.
do one more quick hot lap. At this
You had to
point,
go recruit people. You had to go get
Money,
people to
money
the
yeah, I think
burning a
bottom.
hole in the
we were
pocket.
recruit. That's right, Gus. We were going out to
Because I was
recruit
setting
people.
up and I'm like, where the hell are you guys?
Yeah, that's right.
Don't
We're
worry about
legit.
it.
Yeah. So I remember Brian and I, we're just like burning through the aisle, and all of a sudden, like that bait just kind of caught my attention out of the corner of my eye, and like, a few cocktails deep, I'm just like, whoa,
Hell is that?
what is that? Like, whoa.
Whoa,
I'm
shut
like,
up.
I've never seen that before. And picked one up, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. And then Jim, the owner and bait builder of it, came over and started talking with us, and yeah, we were both, Brian and I were like, we got to be honest, like we've never heard of this bait before, never
Never
seen
even
it,
thought of it.
never thought of it. He's got, his TV going, people catching fish on it. So we're like, hey,
And
like
I'll
it.
give Jim the credit. I mean, I was skeptical of it at first, but after talking to him, he's a great guy, great salesman. And it didn't take him much, especially with the alcohol intake at that time. I was like, all right, I'm
All
grabbing
right,
one. So,
Jim, I've heard enough. I'm gonna stop you
yeah,
right there. And I got one as well. I'm super excited to throw it, and that'll be fun.
I am. It's
See,
probably like the bait I'm most excited to see how it looks in the water because
yeah,
I have no
So
idea.
unique.
Yeah, it is.
So unique.
yeah. I want to get one more in, boys, here before we wrap up, just because this one I am super excited for. So Gus and I actually got onto a pretty decent chatterbait bite down in Madison a couple years back, and
Oh
the
yeah.
we have the what musky candies. I
It's the
don't
big
know,
one. Yeah. It's like
big
the
one.
snack hammer.
Yeah. And it's a
Something
killer
like that.
bait. The only thing with it is it's really big. Like I've always wanted something that was kind of like a little bit smaller just to throw in Wisconsin and kind of the dirty water. And uh Max Coffin with Cougar Baits, most charitable bait builder out there. Actually, you know, we went and stopped by his booth, and I got this, what is it? The Umber
Ruckus.
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 Rocks.
Yeah, the Ruckus. So it's got this little, I don't know what it is, but it's like a little bell here by the
Mhm.
chatterbait. Um, Gus got one too in the color I actually wanted, but it's all right.
It's chill.
Maybe we'll trade halfway through the year, Gus.
It's just not how it works.
But yeah, I'm pretty fired up for this bait, and
I
something
think I
different to
think
throw when the bucktails aren't working.
well, yeah, I got one as well. And we were sitting there looking at all those different colors. I think we all kind of looked at each other and agreed that, like in Canada, that would be sweet to test out because, like we said, with pretty much all the baits, you're looking for something a little bit different, something new. And we'll be fishing, Wabagoon, shallower lake in Canada. I'm sure they've seen a ton of bucktails, so just to mix it up a little bit, maybe if it's
I mean,
slower.
yeah, all of these like that was like one of my first things in mind. I got a color that's a little bit more specific for dirtier water. This is the Minnesota one I like, but
Hmm.
the other one too will work great in Minnesota. I'm sure it's like a brown gold, but
Yeah.
yeah, all
I,
these baits, trucker, the Smitty, this flamethrower, the chatterbait, they're all gonna be just dynamite. Um,
They're gonna get
fun things
Absolutely.
to
absolutely
try.
I
crushed.
mean, one cool thing that I was just thinking of right here too, with the way Max makes this bait, it might take some fine tuning on other lures and whatnot, but like it's split ring down there. You could just take this sweet chatterbait blade and just throw it on whatever you want,
Hmm.
Right.
like a rubber bait or something that's kind of heavier because these things have
Mm.
insane amount of lift. I got
Bait
you thinking
mods.
now, Brian. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Hold on, hold
Interesting,
on. I'm gonna put this one
interesting.
out on the air for free. Little free pearl for everybody.
Uh,
What about the miniature swim fin from Bam Bam with the chatterbait in front of it?
I don't hate it.
Mind blown. I'm blown.
I might dive into that
What'd you think of
about
that?
Do
3 hours into opener.
What'd you think of that?
Hey, speaking of bait mods, actually, I was gonna kind of I didn't even tell you guys this beforehand, but I'm gonna bring this up, and it could be a segment, could be a new segment. You know, we love our segments; they come and go, uh, as just randomly. Sometimes they're in and then they're out, but
Yeah.
this could be a cool
One
new
and
one.
done's.
Chatting with Tyler O'Brien on Instagram, shout out.
Shout
Shout
out.
out.
Um, came up with the ninja school, like a ninja trick, like ninja trick of the week, bait
Mm.
mob, something like that, something
Mm.
sneaky, just like one thing to just kind of like put your either think about or do or just
Shatterblade in
test.
front of a swim fin.
That's Brian's, but no, he had a good one, and and I
Oh,
asked him like,
wait,
can I?
wait, that wasn't a good one?
No, it's a good one. It's a good
Okay,
one.
all right, thanks,
Oh, that
thanks,
was a
Cool.
really
It's
good
chill.
idea, dude.
thanks.
Can't
Definitely
wait
go
for
for
you to
it.
do that. On opener and
Yeah. Thought the swim fin was an
so
opener bait.
Well, the miniature one is. I got the big one.
Oh,
So it'll be one
I
of
do.
Gus's that I mod up
My apologies.
day one. Yeah,
oh,
go
one
ahead.
of mine. Okay, okay.
Onward.
Onward. Okay, so I asked him like, hey, can I use this? He's like, yeah, no, go ahead. Like this could be, ninja school week one, ninja trick of the week. So he a few years ago he said he didn't have any walk the dogs topwaters in his boat, but he kind of wanted to do something like that. So he took a suic and bent the tail all the way upwards and then just started popping it on the surface, and it was walking left to right, but it was more subtle. And a second cast he caught one. He's like, hmm,
Wow.
this could be something. And then now he says he's going to try it with drilling a hole in the back and having a little blade on the back. So every time the back tail smacks the water, because the bait's just riding right up on top, the blade is smacking the water, kind of like a subtle flap tail. So
Did
that was kind of like a ninja thing to
yeah.
do with the Suic.
It makes me. It kind of reminds me of a video I just watched with Keys and Rich on it. And Rich was working a bait in the front of the boat, which I thought, if I'm remembering it correctly, looked like more of a crankbait, but he was working it really slow, light taps and kind of walking it across the surface. I don't know if you guys had seen that
Was
episode.
it the was it? Oh, I
I think
think
it was a
so.
recent one in the last few weeks.
Wasn't he just showing it, throwing a bubba like the walk the dog top water?
Yeah, I thought he was just throwing a walk the
Was
dog.
it? I
Yeah,
thought he
that
was
was
kind
just a
of. I thought he was modding something else, but
Mm.
might have just been the Bubba.
Hmm.
no, that was it. But yeah, that's mod of the week. Um,
Suet,
ninja
man, that
trick.
thing's got to be just kind of water skiing on the surface. Is it? It can't move much water. Maybe that's
Sometimes
what they
though,
like,
that's
though.
Sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the dumbest thing possible, and boom, it works.
Whoa,
Something that's
dumbest
like,
thing possible. Hey,
Yeah. Well,
catch it straight.
no, I mean it's a Suic. It's already just doing like nothing. It's just
Yeah.
going this way, going that way. Like
Yeah.
you put on the surface. No hate. Like it's literally
No,
what
no, no.
the dumb muskies want to do sometimes. They just
I,
want
I was gonna
to
show
do
off the
that.
Suic I got at the show, but I decided not to. Wait till I catch a fish on it. Get the net shot.
so
Hmm.
guys, something I wanted to talk to you about a little bit here. So the Musky Expos, are like you're kind of the best time of year to get together with a bunch of other musky anglers. Like, I mean, you never really get that opportunity. I think that's why Gus and I like fishing tournaments so much, is you get to be, just chopping it up with a bunch of other psychos that like to musky fish. And the expos are just so much fun because you just get to let it rip with all these guys that, love musky fishing. So I was gonna ask, I mean, what was the vibe at the show? Any interesting conversations? What was any kind of murmurs or consistent conversations you guys had? Things that just kind of kept coming up. Brian, I'm gonna go to you here because I know you're really engaged with everything and everybody that you talked with. So,
And remember it
um,
all.
It is kind of like overstimulating when you get in there and all of a sudden you start making your rounds and you're talking to a bait maker and then someone that you know comes up and then you're chatting with them and then you forgot what bait you're trying to buy and then I mean you can get lost in there pretty quick. So I felt like I had a million different conversations with a ton of different people, and they all were fairly brief just because you're trying to buy baits, they're trying to buy baits, or they're working a booth. But yeah, I mean, it was good catching up with a lot of the same people that we had seen years past. The Taps and Tackle guys always have a cool setup to hang out at.
for
Um,
sure.
that's where I chatted up with who you just mentioned, Tyler O'Brien, for a while. And then seeing, Kyle and Victoria Fregis, cool to run into them. I got to see Phil I don't think I'd met Phil in person prior to that, and that's my guy.
Really?
So it was cool to bump
That
into
is your
him.
guy.
Um, yeah, but Brady, of course. Brady's always a fun time. So
Dude,
I mean,
Brady, now that you mention it, that man can shotgun a beer.
yeah, that's
I mean, that was disgusting.
it's literally like an open funnel. No, I mean he's got no stoppie
He
on his
It's
throat.
it went up and
crazy.
then he crushed it. Like it
It's
went up,
Yeah,
crazy.
split second, crushed it. It was empty.
I mean, I
yeah.
know like
Couldn't
all
believe
those
it.
PA guys are kind of talking shit about like how they can outdrink Wisconsin guys. Um, I mean, that's like, they can win the battle, we might win the war kind of argument. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure. Brian didn't do a great job at that, but like
No, but I will.
I've
You teed me up for failure.
okay.
Get me a
Was
drink
I
at
around for
11
this?
a.m., empty stomach.
Mm. But no, shout out Brady. That was impressive stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a sight to
he
behold.
made his mark. Yeah.
Gus, what about you? Any consistent themes that kind of kept coming up while you were at the show?
Dude, it's tough. I'm same way like Brian, it's all kind of like a blur by the end of the weekend, whether you want to take that into account with alcohol or not. Like honestly, it's just like talking with a lot of people in a very short amount of time. Like, my social bar just kind of not that it hits a limit, but all of a sudden just like I don't know.
Like Sunday, you're
It's
ready to
hard
get the
to
hell out of there.
hard to explain. I mean, everybody is by
Yeah.
Sunday.
I
I
could
mean,
tell you were pretty tapped late Saturday night. You were just like, oh,
yeah,
Gets
as you
long,
know, I
long
can I
hours.
can just start to zone out a little bit. But I had a lot of great conversations. I saw a lot of, the people that I take out on the water each year. Great to see them at the show, buying some new stuff, stopping to say hey, meeting some new people as always. It's good. Um, Consistent, I mean, things that were brought up, honestly. Not a whole lot. I obviously overheard plenty of people were blabbing about the new opener or whatever, but I don't know. For the most part, just tried to not really talk about that a whole lot, but because it seemed like most of the people were just kind of on the same page. Everybody was just like, "What the hell's going on? Like, why did this happen?" Tons of people are just blindsided, and then there's all the people out there like, you were not blindsided. Like, this has been known for 4 years." I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like that, to be honest. But it's interesting. I mean, more on that. I think there's the spring hearings or the spring hearing going on. It's coming up like I think it's April 13th. Each county has a different spot that you can go to, and apparently, there's been something I think coming up. Prior to the next pod, I can and get more information. But if I'm not mistaken, you have to go there in person to vote against this new rule. So there's a chance, I think, per county it could be taken back. Maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
can't
I
imagine it'll
honestly
move
don't
that
know.
quick. But yeah, no, yeah, it
Pretty
was
unregulated.
interesting. I think this winter, maybe more than ever. I mean, maybe I'm just recency bias or whatever, but it feels like the Muskie community just needs to take a collective breath. And honestly, like going to the show was really refreshing because it's just like so much bullshit and banter and like it was
That's
fun.
what
I
I
would
like better.
say, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think the opener thing got brought up a bunch, but like you said, Gus, I mean, it was everybody I talked to about it, I guess, was on the same page, kind of same thing you were just saying. It is what it is. And I think the spring hearing, if anything, the way I was kind of looking at it is like it's going to be really interesting to see, like, this issue aside, no matter what issue you want to bring up, like if you can actually get a bunch of people, kind of moving in the same direction and get something changed, I think it'll be kind of I mean, and whether it gets changed or it doesn't change, that's kind of beside the point here. But just to see like, hey, if you go to like these things in person and you show up and you vote on stuff, like, are there actually ways to change things for stuff that you like want to see happen in the future? So, depending on what the result of this is, like I said, whether it happens, whether it doesn't, I think it's going to be kind of a cool like little precedent on, hey, if there's another issue that people want to talk about and can get behind, like we changed this or we maybe got close to changing this, like we could try to institute something different, so um I'll be
Yeah.
really curious to see how that all goes down. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some people there that are going to be arguing for it maybe. I don't know who that will be. I mean,
I
but I'm
I'm
sure
not
there
really
will be.
sure either. I'm not really sure either, and it's just something that's kind of, funny to think about if you're on the side of for it and you think like it's not really going to matter, but it apparently does if there's this much of an uproar on Facebook and even people out of state uproaring about it. It sounds like it's a big deal. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to
Well,
make it
you do
sound.
you can't go on social media right now without seeing something about it. I mean, it's
Hmm.
everywhere it feels like. And then obviously now they have, this whole new tribal laws that are going on up in northern Wisconsin. Like it just seems like a lot's kind of happening all in like the windfall. We just got to get to opener, whatever opener that you acknowledge as your muskie opener. Like we just got to get out there, get fishing because we just got to cool the temp down a little bit.
I
It's feeling a
know.
little weird out there, but I'm excited to see how this spring hearing goes. I'm really looking forward to hearing kind of like how many people actually show up and kind of what the
Yeah.
dialogue is and all that stuff. So, um,
Yeah, I'll be attending. I'm pretty sure. I got to double check my calendar or whatever. If I'm gone, I'm gone. It sucks or whatever. I know plenty of people that will be attending. But if I'm around, I'll go for sure. I kind of want to see what it's about. Um, it's definitely something I'd like to be more involved with, each and every year, see what's going on as boring as sometimes politics can get, but like these are important things for our state and the state of the fishery and everything like that you, like Max said, if you want to get something changed, I'd be curious to see how this goes, like if it can be changed or what it's going to take or how many voices and votes or whatever they need. Um, for the most part, I'm just curious about the structure. I mean, of how they are going to do this.
yeah, it's a
I
great
personally
point.
don't know. I'm
Yeah.
young. I'm not, a guy that's been around the block for so and so many years. So it's just getting started into this side of the muskie game, not just the go out, catch fish, have fun side of the muskie game.
And that's like
The
what it
side
is
that I enjoy.
99% of the time, but it's just
Yeah.
and I think that kind of goes with like a lot of this stuff is like, we are included in this, like we complain about stuff, we bitch about this and that, and then it's like, well, what are you really doing about it? And, again, like we want to try to do stuff like I've tried to talk to people like, hey, is there any way we can use this platform to increase stocking? And like it always just kind of goes to like one step further, but never like another step that can actually make a difference or do anything. Because it's like, well, we need more money. Well, okay, great.
We
Like
could
we
we
could
could get a
probably raise
fundraiser.
money, but like, all right, so now what do we do? It's
Yeah.
like never really
Is
a
it going to
great
go somewhere?
yeah, there's never really like a great answer that makes us feel good about like, hey, if we're gonna be, trying to fundraise money for more fish. And I think,
It's
at the end of the day too, that's like what it feels like a lot of this all circles around is like people maybe just aren't super happy with the trajectory of the muskie fishery and they're kind of like using this northern Wisconsin change the opener date that changed is like a great platform to kind of be like hey, this is what's wrong. Like with, forward facing sonar, wakeboards, deterioration of spawning habitat, like increase in pressure, like all these factors. It's like getting people to talk about that stuff. So, if the silver
Hmm.
lining of anything is here is like, I think it at least will spark some different conversations and maybe get the ball rolling on some other stuff.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's a term for it, but it's like it's probably going to get uglier before it gets, you know, beautiful again or whatever.
Darkest before the
Like
dawn.
Hmm.
yes.
Mhm. That's what Brian always says.
Calm before the storm.
Calm before the
I think we
storm.
need
Calm before
to
no,
No, that's
that's
if
not.
we're
not
gonna
Storm's not even
sorry,
calm.
anyway.
uh,
If we're gonna live with these two big overriding issues of the correct opener date and live scope, we just need to include them in our musky fishing pronouns. So like Gus, if you're gonna go speak, you say Gus Manti, Memorial Day weekend, not a scoper.
Yeah,
And everybody
right.
would give a big sigh of relief. Like, oh, yeah, traditionalists.
oh, yeah, woo.
I would
Brian
say Brian will
Echo.
go first weekend of May, scoper.
Boo.
Get him
Boo
out of
this
here.
man. Get him out of here.
Boo this man.
Yeah.
Boo
Is there
this
a
man.
category of wannabe scoper?
I'm a May
See him out
seconder.
to dinner. Boo that man. God, I gotta find that. Maybe we'll use that for the intro. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Which
I think
one?
it's like
Boo this man?
Yeah, it's like the old New York radio guy talking about some like Giants offensive lineman. He's like, "You see
Oh,
him out to dinner? Boo that man."
I could try and find that clip. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do this week. I just saw like a funny Simpsons clip on Instagram today. I was maybe gonna use, but I'm always
Yeah.
always open to suggestions.
No, we like to try to keep it light. I think we had a good conversation with Kyle a couple weeks ago on the live scope stuff. Got some great feedback from a lot of people. I think
Hmm.
some new viewpoints were introduced to us that we maybe didn't think about that were all good. So we've debated talking about maybe having somebody on that's maybe pro live scope or uses it a lot and can maybe come on and talk and have a healthy discussion about it just to get some other
Healthy.
viewpoints in the room.
Hmm.
But either or, I thought it was a lot of fun and it was good chat. So
Certainly, yeah. I enjoyed that week, when we had Kyle on. Those are good to have every once in a while, a good old fashioned discussion with our friends, or if it's just us three and just chop it up, Q&A. We're gonna have some more, of course, coming on here shortly will be Nick Ambrose, but we just kind of briefly talked to him about his baits and the show and the future of Hammer Customs. Um, but we'll have some guests on here in the near future. We got a few more lined up and a couple that we're looking to line up. But also in the near future and before we talk about it, there's going to be a Thorn spring sale. But before I get into that, we brought him up multiple times. You guys, Brian, you bought from Dougie Fresh at the
The
show. He
freshness.
was
Yeah.
he was there in person himself. He also was on the pod, last week, the one that I was on for approximately
Oh
like
yeah.
3.5 minutes
Hmm.
total. I think that was the least amount of time all of us were on a pod
I
ever.
didn't even know it started. I turned around. I'm like, oh shit, we're going.
It
so do
was
I.
starting to get so late. I'm like, dude, the show's gonna end. Like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
gotta
I
at least get
did.
something rolling,
Got
even if it's just
kicked out
starting
right
kind of.
away.
Right, right. But yeah, yeah. If you're looking to up your muskie game, next gen muskies, I got Mot 10 MOT 10.
Oh.
Get you 10% off there. Because I think he just posted another sort of ninja trick. He talks about his tube rigs, which tubes, as you know, from Red October, one of our absolute favorites. Um, and modding those, like you can do a lot with the tubes, so check that out. But anyways, we do have a spring sale coming up for Thorn Brothers. That's another big deal. I know I went there last year to pick up. I was sliding through, I think, coming back from vacation or whatever, MSP, stopped by Thorn. Just so happened to be during the spring sale. I was picking up Clayton's custom rods, and I'm like, holy shit, I mean, it is juice in
It's like
there.
a
They have
party, isn't it?
the entire store is on
Yeah.
sale, basically. It's April 10th to the 12th on Saturday. They got a bunch of speakers and whatnot. We just had him on not too long ago. Jeremy Smith, he's going to be talking at 1 p.m. on Saturday. They got a what do I got written down here? They got a 3 p.m. guide panel. Let's see here. We got this right here. That's with Luke Ronstrand, Michael Hansen, John Holmgren, Chase Gibson, and Dara Cutter. Shout out
Damn.
them
Dude, I got to
boys.
shout out Michael Hansen.
Yeah.
Great time at the Wisconsin Muskie Expo. Felt kind of
Absolute
bad. I think
baby.
we kidnapped him from the bar, but I think he enjoyed himself. So
He's a good
Yeah, nothing
hang.
wrong with
kind
that.
of forced him to come to the hotel, but it's all good.
Get
Lobby
your ass
beers.
over here.
Lobby beers. But yeah, they got tons of stuff on sale. Custom rods, I think, even on sale and whatnot. I know Max, you just got one recently. I don't know if we described it on the pod. You maybe did, but which one did you get again? How was that customizing
Uh,
experience?
so far, and I say that because I believe I'm probably gonna end up buying another one, but I customized the extra heavy 10-foot stealth rod. Went in there in person, did the whole customizing process. Super easy, really cool. They got a bunch of like
Thread colors?
well, yeah, you can really customize them, but it's nice. You go there in person, you can feel the different, foregrips, the different butt lengths. They got a bunch displayed at the store, so you can kind of mess around with it before you actually customize your own, and you can mix and match, whether you want the wind grip, the cork, the what's the black, the Duracork, I think it's called.
Syncork? Durcork?
I think it's
Oh,
Durcork.
well, that sounds better. That's right. That's right.
And there's some different like, you know, palm seats or whatever you want to call them as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
kind of go in there, you get a little feel and can kind of figure out what you like. So
How long does it
Brian,
take them then to customize it?
well, I did that a couple weeks ago and I'll be picking it up, I believe, next week. So
Is it
I
like
don't
three
know.
to 4 weeks usually?
Yeah, around a month, I'd say. I don't
Okay.
know. Could be shorter, could be longer. Sorry, Tucker, if I'm wrong on that, but that's
Yeah.
about what it seems like. And yeah,
I gotta
super easy
hurry up then.
process. Really excited to, yeah, Brian, you're gonna have to get on that. But yeah, really excited to throw that this year. So that will
Hell yeah.
be awesome. Gus, what else you got for us?
Other than probably in that sale, I'm gonna get terminal tackle because that's important always. To have that rounded up. I'm looking at my notes again. Another week of actually being, well organized here.
Nice job.
Um, no, we tackled everything I wanted to touch on, honestly. So I think that kind of does it. I think we'll probably just sign off with Nick's interview. So, unless Brian, do you want to kind of take us away here a little bit? You got a little
I got
something,
Do you want to
nothing.
sports?
explain why you're in just a four box zero thing on your walls room?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
my
that's
insane
crazy.
asylum here. It's this room isn't decorated behind me. If you're
We
watching
can
here
see
live on the
that.
show.
Yeah.
This isn't a
Like,
green screen. This
You
is the actual
don't have to
room.
show
And
it.
look, I'm a simple man. I didn't realize how bad it was until I hopped on, and the first thing y'all said is, "What's going on in that room?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So maybe
you ever been in there?
I'll have to get a couple. Oh yeah, I'm in here. I just there's nothing on this wall ahead of me either. So maybe
I
I'll have to go
believe
get
it.
some pictures.
You don't
Gus,
even need me explaining that.
no, Gus will be
That makes
here.
it worse.
Gus will be here Friday night, sleeping in this beautiful room with no wall art. So I'm sure he'll sleep like a baby.
I mean, it's just, it's
I'm gonna
crazy.
be
You know,
freaking out, dude.
for those
There's
of
no
you that
comfort
haven't watched
level.
us in the past, Brian always uses like a screen background screen thing so we actually can't see where he's actually sitting.
Yeah,
So tonight when we're doing the bait thing, he popped on without his background and we're just like,
That's
it
I
unreal.
literally
got
reminded me of the
exposed.
meme of like single guy living by himself, just doesn't need anything besides a
The
chair and a
lawn
TV,
chair.
lawn
Yeah,
chair and the TV in the
yeah.
middle of the room.
Yeah, we got to work on it. Work in progress. Obviously, no lady around to decorate, so it is what it is. Single guy room. Don't need much. Food and TV. Not much else to talk about from my end. I will say though,
Hmm.
guys, I mean, Tiger Woods, what are we doing, man? We got to get a grip on
Mm.
him. Teases us about Augusta, gets arrested for DUI again, rolls his car and bounces it on the driver's side door. Come on, brother, figure it out. Hire a driver. It sounds like he's now taking some time away from golf to get some help, hopefully get cleaned up. And maybe that's probably better for his body too, better for the legs, better for his back. Take some more time off, come back later in the year. Hoping for the best for Tiger.
Are you gonna release a
Keep
statement like
saying
he
that.
did about your performance at the Wisconsin Muskie Expo?
What did his say? Was it very PR?
Yeah, super corporate PR. Like,
Yeah.
I apologize for my actions. I'm gonna take some time away to think about what I've
You
done,
might have
clean
thought you
myself
saw
up, and be
me
better.
that, but you didn't actually see me. That wasn't me. If you saw me, it wasn't me. But no,
Mm.
we'll show up in a full stomach next year. We'll get after it. Goal for next year is just give Brady a
Oh,
run for
you
his
got
money. I think I left Brady on his high horse. Yeah. So we'll show up better. Look, we build back stronger.
Yeah.
But with that. Can we lead us into Mr. Nicholas, Mr. Hammer
One last,
Custom
one last
himself?
thing.
One last thing, more
Sorry.
baits.
Well,
Shameless plug. Sorry. The
Come
Sugfest.
on.
The OG, which check out that freaking blade.
Yeah,
How
true.
much it's been chowed.
Just showing off or
Shout out
what?
everybody that showed up and got some. A lot of hate on this at the last shows. Didn't sell super well because it is a very ugly color. But shout out them Wisconsinites. You showed up, made me proud. Did find out from Mr. Hunsader himself. These will be offered at Guide's Choice Pro Shop
Whoa.
right here in Eagle River.
Shout
So
out. Hey, also real quick, I
shout
want to
out Fred and
say
Fred Jr.
I
oh
want to
no,
call I want to
oh
call
no.
both of you guys out for this. We haven't
Oh
mentioned
no.
shit about our own podcast name Bucktail. It was
I
at the
haven't
expo. Nobody copped it. You might have gotten a little hand-me-down one. I mean,
I
guys,
copped a 7.8. I copped a 7.8 in the Mount Moon Man.
our
This is
creative department's got to do better next year.
This is a 9-10. This one lucky winner in the bracket challenge will
I
get this. It's
It
nice.
looks
Like
great. It should work, but guess what? Everybody has that bucktail already. That's the problem. We need to branch out,
people got it.
get unique, something they haven't seen.
You're no one's happier that bucktail didn't sell than you.
I was talking to Carl. I'm like, Carl, I think it's selling, is it? He's like, nah, it's not the hottest one. I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
He's
So
in the corner every time. I blame Carl for placement.
yeah, it's like bottom of the shelf at the grocery store. So next year we need to be front and center, new color,
Just be better. What did you say? Build back better.
build back better. Yeah, we're gonna
What do
build
we
back
get?
better.
I'm done. I'm done customizing for Musky on tap. I'm outed.
Thank
Cool, sick
God.
perch color, Muskies on tap, Moon Man.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Gus,
nah,
Gus.
it's
Come on, dude.
The best news of the week, brother.
you guys want me back? Want me back? All right, just let me know. Just let me know when you need me. You
Yeah.
guys customize something, talk with Carl, get through the
I'm
prototype
gonna talk with
stage.
Carl.
I did
Shit.
all that. I did all that.
Yeah,
We
True.
got her
I
done.
get you. I get
That
you.
is, yeah, Brian, in Gus's defense, every time he brought it up, I mean, you didn't even
No, it
respond.
was you and me arguing back and forth, and then I eventually tossed
Oh,
in the
that's right.
towel. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
Just make
because your
some.
answer was like, let's make it all white and purple. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
Hey,
It's like,
I mean, you're telling me it wouldn't have sold the same amount of units, and people would have known whose that was.
if you,
So,
yeah,
hey, look. I like
honestly,
what you
to
said a
get,
couple
to
sentences
get,
ago. It seems like you're trying to get back into the creative circle here.
no, no, no. I'm gonna fully
Yeah.
deflate myself here, and I'm gonna pump you right back up. Honestly, next year
Uh,
when you create yours for the Muskies on tap for Carl for a show color, it will do better than Mott Moon Man.
So
okay, okay.
are you like, is this happening real like live time? You're promoting Brian ahead of the creative department for Muskies on Tap?
Brian's been the head of the creative department.
And
This guy?
head of merch god.
Yeah, how's our new
Merch.
merch line coming out that hasn't been out since
There
2024?
has been. Remember when I teased it like a year
Yeah.
ago? Just never
Yeah,
came.
you're like, we got new merch dropping. I'm like, we do?
And I go, we do?
Yeah.
It's in the works. It's in the works. We have been murmuring though about maybe some like limited release hats, new hattage or something.
Yeah, I was trying to cook the other day and you guys just weren't having it.
Well,
I think you just
yeah,
It's
thumbs
just
up
on
the
a non
message.
it's just a non-cook day for us. I don't know. You
yeah,
gotta catch us in that right mood. Somebody's like going off and the other person's just trying to not be on their phone. Like it's tough.
yeah, right. I mean, not
Yeah.
everything's gonna get green lighted. Somebody's got to play devil's advocate. So we're gonna work on refining it, creating the ultimate bucket, and
So we
that'll
are
be
going hat.
that'll be coming out here. I mean, at least sometime this year, I'd think. So you guys stay tuned for that.
Maybe next show season,
Look,
we're just a three-man show.
it's enough talk about us creating something custom. We can go to the actual guy that creates custom, paint jobs, cool looking baits, Mr. Hammer Customs on the line? Question mark.
I
What you
mean, he
mean?
does join us on
He
video.
does join us on video. Is he on the line right now, Gus? Answer the call.
Yes, he is now.
There
Now.
he is. He
There
just
he
answered.
is, Nick.
There he
Hey,
is,
Nick.
Nick.
Nick. Oh, Nick. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Well,
Oh, this little
folks,
topper off.
here on the line, we got none other than Nick Ambrose himself with the Muskies on tap pint glass there, rocking some Kessler and Coke, smoother than silk. It's Mr. Hammer Customs himself, the maker of the Hammer Jerk that is well sought after in the muskie community right now, and many other baits that we can chat about here, especially a newer one that you kind of had a long time ago, and then he didn't have it last show, and we'll get into all that. But Nick, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Gus. How are you boys doing?
Not too
Really
bad.
good.
No complaints.
Good
No
Tuesday.
complaints at all. So,
How's the weather?
No complaints.
Thunderstorms and hail this morning when I left.
oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's brutal. That's
Yeah.
brutal. But well, Nick, you and I, we shared a booth. It was mainly just you. It was the Hammer Customs booth with a little sprinkle side of Muskies on tap. But um, that show was nuts. We had our pod last week, which was during it. We'll get into that breakdown, just the three of us during this pod at some point, whether it's before or after this when we get you on here. But It was chaos. What'd you think of that show this year?
It was absolutely nuts. I feel like I was probably more overwhelmed last year compared to this year, but I think we were busy this year. I think we had a better setup and how to do things, and it just flowed a lot better. But it was absolutely insane. I just remember at one point where I see the line kind of forming, and I'm selling baits, and I think I looked down to wrap a bait. And at that time, there was maybe like 10 people in line. And I looked down, I looked back up, and I could not see the end of the line. And my initial response was, holy shit.
It's spot on. Yeah, same for Jeremy Barber and I at the start. Clayton and Taylor were hanging around too. Because eventually Clay and I had to go to our presentation on Friday, but Barber and I were literally just like a conveyor belt, like a machine. We just had baits behind and we just kept restocking. People had questions like, "Hey, do you have this color left? This color left?" And it was just all absolute chaos. Yeah, man.
Question here. So I've actually never been to the Wisconsin Musky Expo on Friday. So I've never seen like the mass chaos that ensues that first day. And I've always wondered this for like your booth, Nick and Conklin and some of the other people's that, sell out like they say it sells out, in 40 minutes or an hour. Um, what does that look like when somebody comes up and they're standing in line? I mean, do they pretty much have to make a decision on which bait and which color they want, like right then and there? I mean, are people sitting there trying to contemplate which one to buy, or is it just like, hey, you gotta pick one and buy it and kind of keep it moving type thing with how many like so many people behind them?
Well, like for my booth, I have a limited spot where I can put baits. So it's kind of Gus and Jeremy are just grabbing baits and putting them out. So I don't always have all my colors out at one time. So mine might be a little different than Conklin or Brady or Rusty's. So you're not always seeing them all, but I would say the majority of the people kind of knew what they wanted, and if they didn't see that, they would have a second idea what they wanted. Because let's face it, I put out 32 different color schemes last year.
That's insane.
I
That is
can't
a
help it. I
lot.
get ADHD while painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you put together a lot of like the staples, but it's actually pretty insane how many like one-offs or ones that you made like two or three of that people really wanted, like right
Yeah.
away too, which is kind of sounds about right though, because a lot of those one-offs for like the ones that you could take your time a little bit more, I guess if that makes sense.
I mean, I know you recorded it, Gus. Did you ever show those guys that time lapse?
No, I haven't. I told them about it, but I haven't showed it. That could be something that we should show off here soon because that was impressive. I mean, it's literally like I was laughing. We're like putting up some baits. We're kind of doing some last minute things. All of a sudden, we're standing there with our hands on their hearts, for the start of the show at two, yeah, two, and then within like a split second, it was just like whoosh, just a
It's
bum
a mad
rush,
rush,
and the
Black
line
Friday
just
rush.
like, and the line just went to its full potential like right away and stayed at that because people probably just kept kind of jumping in line in case they'd get a crack at it. And yeah, pretty much once the hammer jerks were gone, the line and sledgehammers, the line was just kind of non-existent, and some people would come in and out throughout that next 3 hours to grab your glide bait, the fill, or the chain and jackhammer, your trolling staples.
hmm Yeah, it's crazy. As soon as that last hammer jerk left the shelf, you just seen everybody disappear. Like nothing ever happened there.
Hmm.
Do
Yeah.
you wish you had brought even more for Saturday, or did you kind of enjoy getting them all out early and then heading Saturday to kind of relax and chat with people more?
So I think I brought 160 total hammer jerks, and I was trying to split them up between the days evenly. So I had enough for Saturday too. I think we put out maybe 50 on Saturday. I wish I would have brought more baits, but I also would need to build more at that time.
Those were gone pretty quick. By the time I got there were none.
Yeah, I think on Saturday we were out of those 50 in 18 minutes.
Woo.
And that's pretty much as fast as people can go through the line. So
Yeah,
That was my question. I'm like, how does that even? Were
that's
you
interesting.
surprised at all about how many the interest in the sledgehammer? Because the hammer jerk had now a couple years behind it, where people were getting them in their hands last year. Obviously, it's been kind of a little bit more talked about. The sledgehammer was something that you didn't even have at the show last year. Were you surprised that those sold out so quick?
no, I honestly kind of figured those were going to go very fast because when I first had them at the show, because I think that was the same year, it was a Muskies Ink banquet, and I donated one, and I think Gus won that one.
I did.
Imagine that. And
Yes.
that was kind of people kind of saw that bait in action off of your guys' video. And I've been getting messages for the last 2 years on it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's
the
yeah,
cave run video.
yes. And I only had I think 25 of them. That was all the lips that I had. So I figured those were gonna go very fast.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad I was able to get one. I can't wait to put it to work this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, and outside of the hammer jerk and the sledgehammer, I mean, it seems like you got cleaned out on everything else. And for the people that maybe aren't as familiar with the rest of your stuff, you make a killer glide bait and some awesome trolling baits. Something funny that at least I've seen, and I know Gus brought this up too, but kind of people after the show, trying to figure out ways to get their hands on a hammer jerk still. Um, I think you probably wanted to take a minute or two just to kind of explain your process and maybe, a little bit now of like, hey, I'm not going to be building baits for a while, rightfully so, and kind of what that looks like when you start building them for the show next year.
Yeah. So basically when I'm building for this show, like last year, I also have a tendency to cram everything at the last minute. As in, when I had 2 weeks left, I was done building. All I had to do was hooks, and I'm like, you know what? I think I could build another 20 baits. Well, me and Gus were putting the finishing touches on Wednesday before the show. But so when I build for the show, I kind of cram and I try to build as many as I can. Like last year, I mean, this year I brought, well, last year I brought 100 and I want to say I brought 140 baits last year. This year I brought about 268.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I go all in on it. That's kind of my personality. It's all or nothing. So I'm not really, I'm kind of taking some time off now because I put a lot of things off during the winter that I needed to get done. So the only chance really to get any more hammer customs is going to be next year during the show. And possibly I might throw another show in there too.
Oh,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
one
You
would you
were.
consider
News.
doing?
I'm Don't quote
Oh
me
no.
on this, but I'm thinking maybe Minnesota.
Wow.
Of course, you're
Whoa,
smiling, Max.
whoa, party, party.
That would be great. Yeah, well, no, that's cool. So I guess when would you start building those baits? Like, is it in the fall or do you even start in the summer? I mean, I know that you're obviously an avid fisherman. We fished on the tournament trail the last couple years together, and you have a full-time job as well, not to mention, obviously. So yeah, I mean, assuming you want to take your summer to work and fish.
For the most part, yes. I am actually, so like I said, last year I crammed everything. I think I started building in November and I started painting the first bait in January 4th.
Okay.
So, I mean, I
Mm.
kind of pushed it. This year, like I said, I don't take orders. I'm only going to sell at the shows, but this year is as soon as I finish taking care of some things that I put off during the winter, like currently in the middle of making some boat boxes for my boat, a deck. And then after that, as soon as this weather changes, I'll be outside planing wood and I'm going to start right away.
Cool.
At least
Awesome.
getting blanks cut all summer. That way, when winter rolls around, all I'm doing is painting.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean,
I
even
want
just
to bring
hearing
as many
that,
as I can.
I mean, if you're starting in November, that in itself is a 5 month process. So that's crazy. I mean,
And and part of it too is I don't want to cram because obviously, like you said, I have a full-time job. It takes away from friends, family. Like I just told you guys earlier, this is the first time since I was 10 years old I have not ice fished.
yeah,
So
Yeah, that's incredible.
yeah, and I used to ice fish a lot.
Probably
But like I
happier
even
then,
missed
huh?
out. Yes, very much so. Um, I miss out on a lot of fall fishing opportunities because constantly Clay and Gus will be like, "Hey, let's go fishing." I'm like, "I gotta build baits." I miss out on time with the family, girlfriend, and stuff. So I want to start earlier this year, so it's not as stressful.
Spread it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
instead of
Yeah.
pulling all nighters till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and then waking back up in like 3 hours for work.
Especially if you're gonna have to double your bait count from this year, if you will be going to two shows. It'll be a
Yeah.
lot of work. I'm curious though, for anybody that hasn't used your glide, I haven't used it. I've seen it. I saw it at the show. Is it a glide that even someone like me could run? I mean, how's that thing work?
Good question.
Yeah,
I,
also describe the difference between kind of maybe what you did on this year's, because you made it like extra special,
well, I
and
put more love into it, Gus.
Mm-hmm.
you always
Mm-hmm.
do.
DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to be rude or anything, Brian, but I don't
Oh.
know if you're able to work a glide correctly.
Fair.
So
You
you
can
don't want
only
me to,
work
No,
you don't
manta
want me
or
your
hellhound.
swimming
That's
pool
it.
videos?
yeah, it's not a hellhound. I was talking to Barber and he actually explained this to me the other day, like perfectly, but I'm not gonna try quoting him. There's too many F words in there. But you could work it. It takes some practice. It also takes the right rod and reel combo. It's kind of like it's like Barber said, it's between a hellhound and a phantom. So you have to have a little bit of touch with it, but you can make it dance and do what you want. But it's just not going to be effortlessly like with the hellhound.
Yeah, you need
Gotcha.
like a
So
little bit of that rod tip action. I know you use like a moderate tip. I'll use a
Yep.
moderate tip. Preferably, you say what you use, but for glides, I've been really liking the lipstick too from St. Croix. It's like an 8.3 heavy moderate action, and then I know you said you have a, I don't know, what do you use again, Nick?
I have an 810 Elk River um heavy with a moderate tip. So it's got a little bit more flex there and it's like more
Yeah.
forgiving so it doesn't snap back into place. And I know also like talking to Mike Conklin, I know that's kind of similar to the same rod that he likes to use too.
Hmm.
Okay. Good to know. I think that's super helpful uh to
Along
talk
with the steel
about.
leader.
Yeah, I think that all that stuff is super helpful because a lot of times, like especially for the people that are maybe newer into musky fishing that listen to us, all these baits are awesome, but it's like if you don't have the right equipment to throw them, I know it's shitty to say that. Like you can obviously still use them, but it makes like such a world of difference when you have the right reel and rod to use these baits. Like it just makes them really kind of do what they're supposed to do, I think.
And like going back to what Brian said, if he could use it,
Hmm.
it kind of goes back to like when we all got into musky fishing, a glide bait was always something that was talked about. Well, as a newbie, you use it, you're like, this thing is dumb because you don't have the patience and you didn't have the right combo to work it. So I was in the same shoes that Brian was in. I hated
Is
working
in.
glide baits. Yeah, I absolutely would just badmouth them, but that's also why I made my own.
Hmm.
well,
But once I learned how to use it, they're deadly weapons.
it's starting to sound like it's kind of more the arrow than the Indian. I just need to get me a good rod and then I'm off to the races.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it
Then
is.
I can do
Interesting.
promos for you, displaying the glide.
Yeah, get him in the hotel pool.
Yeah.
That'd actually probably get a lot of views.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Brian ISO cam trying to work a glide bait.
Cannonballing in next to it.
Well,
I think that's what the people want to see.
if you
Yeah.
guys go back onto an old video, I had a lure review with that with Phil Stodola back in the day
Mm,
on angler sport
On
fishing,
demo.
and he had to bring Jamie in because he had technical difficulties working a
Wasn't able
glide
to
bait.
run.
Bill couldn't run a fill?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
come on.
He hates him more than me. I have like at least some aspirations of getting, proficient at working a glide. I think Phil is just totally out on the glide train.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll get in his ear. I'll work on him.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what else do we want to talk about here about the Oh, another thing, I guess, with the show, and we talked about this a little bit too, Nick, and kind of joking around. I don't know how much you've said this to other people, but it's kind of funny. It's like you yourself don't even have that many hammer customs in your own tackle box. Like you've just been
No, I
building and
don't.
building for a while, because people are wanting to get some, but making it, you don't have a ton. But I do appreciate that you are making it only like one per person because you want to get them in the hands of the most amount of people as possible, so people can't just go and buy a mass amount and then maybe later go on Facebook and just try and resell them or whatever and do all that load of crap. But I think it's
Yeah,
pretty cool that you
correct.
do one a person.
Well, I don't know. I just kind of saw that like previous years when baits were a big craze, people would do it too. And I think it's just kind of right because it gives more people the chance to get the bait
Hmm.
instead of somebody hoarding it. Yeah,
Yes.
I think I only have two hammer jerks in my box actually.
Yeah.
I have
Don't get curious and start making more for yourself, different colors. None of that.
I would like to, but the problem is every time I like make another one or I have another one, like I gave one to a friend last year because I wanted him to try it, see how he liked it and all that. Like I kind of want to get baits in people's hands, so I kind of don't hold on to them. And the hammer jerks that I have is the very first one I ever made, and a prototype that I'll never release because it just took too much to build it that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do remember that one when you're messing with the tails and whatnot. But yeah, here I have the first one ever from you in that the ICP, and this one's beat to snot. I had it for it's 3 years now, and it's the only one I owned at all. Like I didn't even,
So
buy
Gus, pull
another
that
one
one
from
back
you.
up.
Yeah.
So then here's the first one I ever made, and you can see a lot of differences, like how much skinnier this is than that one too,
Yeah.
Right.
and
Yeah.
different tail.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you've been messing with different tails and like the bulkiness of it. Like you went
Hmm.
here. I finally got my second one. This is
Oh,
in the
I
Gustafson
like
you
that
painted
one.
up. Yeah, I really dig this in the flash and the gold and everything. But you kind of made them back to being wider again. It's still maybe not
Yes,
quite as wide. I don't know how I can.
they should be pretty similar. Those two should be.
They pretty much
What's the
are.
difference in the run style with that original prototype in your hands versus the one that Gus has?
This one went a little bit deeper. As you see the weight in the belly right now. I kind of weighted the bait too much, so I can't go any bigger than that weight. Otherwise, the bait will sink. But like this is just when I first made it, I'm like, oh, I want to make a dive and rise bait, and I had no idea it would have action like it does. But it runs a little bit deeper, and I'm kind of I would say I fine tuned it now to more of what I wanted.
Right. Yeah, and it's got a lot of like action like a crankbait, just like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
And the one thing, I don't know if I said this enough or I've said it in the pod, but the one thing with your tail that I recommend is just do not move it a lot. And if anything, don't really move it at all. You don't need to. Every single one you
Yeah.
tune
So
before
every
it's
single
even.
one I tune, I'm casting it in the pool, or in the river, wherever I can get to it at. And I'll normally tune it for where I want it, like so it's not super wiggly, so it kind of darts more side to side. But yeah, if you do feel the need to adjust the tail, be very careful because you are trying to bend epoxy and wood. I would not do it when it's really cold out, otherwise you will probably crack something.
Yes. So be very careful. But if you are going to barely move it, if you go down a little bit, it's going to go more like a crankbait. And if you go any bit up a little bit, it's going to be more like a suic, just kind of side to side a little bit and
Hmm.
less what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive action.
But yeah.
So it's unique. It's very unique.
Kind of making these anybody that's listening that didn't get one at the show start to make them salivate watching this, and now they just have to wait another year to get their hands on one for themselves.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the role I'm in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Stacking
love to
up
be
the
able to make
line.
baits. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to be able to make baits and give them out to everyone. But where I'm at in life right now, it's trying to maintain a job and all that, it's very hard to. So
Yeah.
that's why I strictly stick to no orders and only at the show.
Yeah, makes
Smart,
sense.
smart.
Well,
And I think 1 second before you wrap it up, unless you got something else to say, Nick, is I think between now and next year, and even already, you've had some ideas on how to potentially make your display a little bit better and make that process better, and we've had ideas to make it as fair as possible. Just because of like
Yeah,
the hordes of people at this last show, we want to make sure that it's, not getting unfair advantages and whatnot. Um,
yes,
so
correct. Well, that's what I am. I'm an idea man. That's what I am.
hmm
Uh,
you always
innovator.
call me up about your ideas and you're like, can we do this? I'm like, probably.
I mean, literally, I think it was my drive home. I came up with like 100 different ideas on the
hmm
display, on building, on paint schemes. So I'm always thinking. But yeah, I have other ideas for next year of making the booth better. I don't know. It's just gonna be a good time.
hmm
Sweet.
So
Looking forward to it. Hopefully you well, I know you'll sell out of them in Wisconsin. Hopefully you end up going to Minnesota and letting people clean up on them there. So be
yeah, I
fun
gotta
to
see how everything works out, but that's what I'm looking at.
yeah, be fun to touch base with you as we get closer to next winter. Hopefully that doesn't come too soon, but we'll be eager to hear your schedule.
I'm still waiting for this winter to go away.
I know.
Yeah,
We all have been.
slowly but surely. But yeah, Nick, if you don't have anything to add here, appreciate your time, Mr. Hammer Customs and Hammer Customs headquarters there for popping on and chatting it up a little bit.
Hammer, hammer, hammer.
Thank you,
Hammer,
Nick.
hammer.